Maintain 2074.
Who am I?
Comet 504, descend to maintain 3000. 3000, Comet 504.
Answer Captain 724 is our traffic about
In my 20s, I dream of flying a plane. Due to having glasses, I thought it's not possible. In mid-2016, I started to have foggy vision. After I checked out, the doctor said I have cataract in both my eyes. Wow! I really never expected this. I felt like taking a trip to the moon, jumping up and down. I'm filled with excitement. But the unexpected turns out into my reality. The cold, hard truth. I need to step into divorce. My mom said her final goodbye, and my family broke apart. I stepped into a solitude journey. This is the best journey I ever experienced. It was super challenging. My achievement, the award-winning author, from housewife to pilot, the beginning.
Comet 504, descend to maintain 3000. 3000, Comet 504.
I'm Keiko. I'm here holding your hands, guiding you every steps to discover your potential, harness that energy, bring it to your reality, and make your dreams come true.
Comet 504, ready to speed of 170 per tower space. You get following a Boeing 727, 1 o'clock, 6 miles right base, descending on a 3500.
Welcome to Tuesday with Keiko. Today, my guest speaker is Katherine Sullivan, a passionate writer with an MFA in poetry who is exploring new ways to connect with a broader audience on YouTube. She is seeking opportunities to share her insights on the creative process through authentic storytelling, coaching, and community building. Currently, she is working on a writing project focused on grief and living more authentically, inspired by the loss of her father to pancreatic cancer in 2021. Kate believes it's essential to celebrate every aspect of our journeys, embrace the process, and stay true to our visions. She is committed to helping others communicate with true potential and inspiring both themselves and those around them to become the best version of themselves. Alongside her husband Joe, Kate co-hosts a YouTube channel, Dream With Us, where they share practical advice, motivational tips, and heartfelt conversations about navigating midlife with purpose and joy. Together, they empower viewers to elevate their communication, strengthen relationships, and create the life they love. Join Kate and Joe every week on this exciting journey. Subscribe now and start dreaming big to make your next chapter your best chapter yet. Hello, Kate.
Oh,
A big warm welcome to you.
yes. Thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful.
You're welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, this past summer, we
Yeah.
decided to start a YouTube channel.
Mhm.
It's been in the back of my mind for many years. And I think for me, it came down to I had to have a mammogram and then a biopsy, and it
Mm.
like struck home that life is precious, life is short,
Yes,
and
true.
that if you're simply waiting to live your best life after retirement,
Mm.
then there's no guarantee. And I think the opportunity to start living your best life, creating your dreams, is so important in the very beginning of at any stage of your life, and that it is all about just taking intentional steps towards your dreams, whether it's you wanting to travel more or start your own company or pay off your house or buy a house or whatever it is. All those things require intentional steps towards your goal rather than thinking, if I just had it all together, if everything was just where I want it to be, then I could have that. And I
Yeah,
think too
that's not how
often
things work.
we wait
Yeah.
for that perfect moment to have that happen. And so what me and Joe are essentially doing is like stepping into that space earlier to make sure that we are actually living our full life more joyfully, more intentionally, each and every day, rather than stressing about working super hard, trying to get as much money as possible to put it into a nest egg and then enjoy life, because there's no guarantees.
Yes, there's no guarantee. It's just like Corona hit. Yeah, there's no guarantee.
No.
Yeah.
And I think that was always the hard part for me with when my dad passed away. He had
Mm,
lived that way. He lived to
mm,
like save for his retirement, make sure it was all done. And thankfully he did retire at like 60, but
mm.
that only gave him, 9 good years, and even in that time period, coronavirus came. And so things shut down,
Yeah.
and it made you realize, oh, even if I did, I'm still stuck in the house for a couple of years.
Yeah, so true. I mean, Corona really hit hard on a lot of us.
Yeah. It hit hard on all of us. And I think
Yeah,
we're still recovering from that, processing it, feeling it.
yes, especially
And
emotional part.
yeah, it is.
Mm,
And unfortunately, we haven't yet given ourselves the time or the space to process it, to go through all the feelings that we had. That feels
true.
like it's not just processing, oh, my dad had cancer and he passed away. It's also the feeling of anxiety of him being
Yeah,
in the hospital by himself and that we couldn't visit him, and that hoping to get him home when he wasn't feeling well.
yeah. And
And
there's
having,
no right or wrong way.
right. And all
No
those
one,
feelings,
no one, yeah, no one can say it. It's the right way or wrong way.
right. And, I think grief is something grief is the highest level of love, I believe. How
Yeah,
we
I
feel
think
it.
so too.
It
Yes,
is
I think so
the
too.
feeling of I not only love somebody deeply,
Mm,
but I was loved deeply.
mm,
And if we can tap into the feelings of grief, we can also remind ourselves that that love hasn't disappeared, that
yeah.
we have the ability to embrace it. When my dad died,
Mm,
there was all this pain that was connected to wanting to hear his voice, wanting to feel
yeah.
his love, wanting
Mm,
to have that embrace again,
yeah. Wanting to spend time with him.
And then you reached out to me after a video that I did, and
Yes.
I get choked up every time I watch the video, because when I'm talking about fearing about the like having to go and get a biopsy,
Mm,
a bird starts chirping in the background,
mm,
and then the bird is silent. It was like, and then when I went and I started talking again about, my dad passing and missing him and loving him, the bird starts chirping again. And it
mm.
was like this, there was this section that I was talking about this feeling when I sat down with him and I say, "Hey, Dad, I hope I didn't cause you too much pain." And he stopped me and he was like, "No, you never caused me pain."
Mm.
And when I said that, the bird starts chirping again.
Mm.
And if you allow yourself to see the signs, you allow yourself to connect to the universe in little ways, you realize that that love is infinite. That love is constantly finding its way to approach you. And I realized listening to that video after I shot it, is I
Mm.
was just going to like shoot it and practice it, saying
Yeah.
what I wanted to say. And then hearing those two sections where the bird starts talking and
Mm.
chirping, I was like, oh, he's right there with me. He's right outside the window.
Yeah. That's so
You know,
true. Yeah.
and it's nature, it's the universe, it's how we all connect. And that if
Yeah.
you allow yourself to just see it, that's one of the biggest things in manifestation,
Yeah.
is to allow yourself to see the things that are beautiful in the world.
Yes. And
Like,
like you experience your dad passing in 2021. Me too. My mom passed in June 2021, and 2 weeks before she passed, the key to the backyard door dropped on the floor. And I was curious, why is it that the key, when the key drop on the floor, is not next to the door, but is like something like 1 meter away from the door. And I was busy cutting fruits at the time, preparing my breakfast. I was like, why is that so? And what is the meaning of the key?
mm-hmm,
And you know what? I found out the meaning of the key the night that after I found out the meaning on Google, and 1 hour later, I received the news my mom passed away.
mm-hmm,
So I believe his angel is telling me my mom is saying goodbye.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was hard. Huh? I mean, it's like that was really a hard impact that, when I received the news, I just break down and cry.
Mm-hmm. Like you knew.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, it was. Yeah, that impact is really huge.
Yeah.
And plus, Corona period. As you know, Corona period, to arrange a flight to fly back to Singapore is not as easy like normal times. And plus, have to do the check, have to do the Corona check to make sure that I'm good, and then I'm able to board the plane. And I'm so relieved that in Singapore there's someone from the government arranged to help me to arrange all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, really thankful for her name is Apple. Until today, I'm really grateful that she helped me to arrange all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
or
think when
else.
we're open and we're vulnerable,
Mm,
humanity comes back and tells us that they have each other's back. Like, we're here for each
yeah.
other. And it can feel overwhelming when you look at the news and you look at the world around you. You feel like it's
Mm,
dangerous. You feel like it's overwhelming. You feel like people are rude. When you look at the big picture, like you zoom out. But when you zoom in and you really allow yourself to feel vulnerable and authentic,
mm,
people respond back to you in such loving, beautiful ways. And
it is.
it's like we just tend to like put up a wall. We tend to like block people off.
Mm,
And that's that you don't even see the signs that someone is trying
yeah.
to come in and help. And if you just allow yourself to be kind and open to the world around you, people respond in very beautiful ways. And I was very moved by how many people reached
Mm.
out to me through that video. And
No, this is really amazing.
yeah, and
And I remember when I took the plane to Singapore, and during that Corona period, and only a few of us in the plane. So when I was sitting in the plane, all the stewardess was so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are like, that comfort, the words of comfort that they given to me. Yeah, it's unforgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I arrived in Singapore and I was in the immigration, and people were so nice to me.
Yeah. They are. People
Yeah.
are genuinely, I believe that most people are genuinely good and they're
Mm,
kind and nice, especially if you give them the opportunity to be kind and nice. If you give
yeah.
them the opportunity to be angry or mad, or you treat them in that capacity right away, which
Mm,
sometimes is what we do within our own families,
mm,
that we get the same response back, and that it
yeah.
is very difficult when we are going through grief to be um, capable of all of that at that time because we're hurting in so
Yeah.
many different
We
ways.
we are we are unable to dance with the beats.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and when attending the funeral of my mom, what I never expected was after the funeral, my sibling cuts me off.
Mhm.
That was really a huge hit. I thought we are siblings, we know each other, and yeah, I never expected this, to appear in my reality.
Sometimes I think our parents are the glue that keep us together. You know,
Mm.
they
So true.
give us a reason to all
Yeah.
connect. Um, and sometimes we need to accept that rather than the feeling of being cut off, but feeling the permission to be free, to
So
live our
true.
lives fully, live our lives authentically as ourselves. And
Mm.
yes, we would love to be able to go back in time, have that moment that we're all together, all connected, all loving each other.
Mm.
But as we grow into our most authentic selves, we have to realize that maybe I'm not being cut off, but I am being set free,
Yeah, that's so true.
you know?
To find my own purpose.
Yeah. Without that, knowing
Mm.
that deep down you're loved, deep down it's not your fault, deep down it's not
Mm.
anything other than just the pain that sometimes we feel after a parent dies, and that it is easy for a person to take it out on another person.
Mm.
And it is better to just say, what do I need to be putting my energy towards? Do I need to be putting my energy towards this feeling of resentment and anger and frustration that was connected back then?
Mm.
Or because if you think about like the amount of time that your brain is thinking about this
Yeah.
moment, this time period, what if you put that same amount of energy into this or into whatever you're dreaming of? And I think that's why, Joe and I talked about creating
Mm.
Dream With Us,
Yeah.
because
That
this
is
time
lovely.
period
I
of
love
life,
it.
can be very sad and hard. We can
Mm.
get really bogged down with the feelings of, oh man, I was so busy and now my mom died or my dad died or my grandma
Mm.
passed or my kids have moved out of the house, and now everything's different.
Mm.
Or you can say, you know, now is the time to recognize that in all those moments of our lives, we were loved, we were cared for, we had our ups and downs, but it is now time for me to feel free to pursue the life that I really want to do without that feeling of burden of like, I need to take care of everybody, because we can feel valued when we are taking care of people, but
Mm.
we can feel even more valued when we take care of ourselves.
Yeah, that is so true.
That if you're seeking love and if you're seeking validation from people outside of you, and you're really trying so hard to get them to understand you and say, hey, you're not a bad person. Hey, you're a good person. Mom loved you and dad loved you. And we love you. What you are actually the opposite. We're saying, oh, we're seeking validation outside of us. But what we really, really need to work on is self-love. And when we love ourselves deeply and understand we are good people, good within ourselves, then we will no longer feel that anxiety that comes from why don't they love me? Because I would feel that feeling of going, oh, I really miss my dad. I just want to hear him say that. And then I have to recognize, oh, they can't say it. That's part of them, but I can say it to myself.
Yeah, that is so true. Because, I guess it's like every one of us, we are expecting something.
Yeah.
But no, that is not how things work.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And that is, it's like, so tell the audience how you step into a breakthrough.
I like to read a lot. When I'm really, really hard on myself and I feel like I can't figure it out, I'll pick up a book that's like a nonfiction book, like a self-help book. When I was going through my divorce from my first marriage, I had nothing. I was like $200 to my name. I was living in my sister's hallway with my 2 kids and my dog. And a friend of mine sent me a book, The Untethered Soul by...
That is the amazing book. Yeah.
Amazing book.
Yes.
And it really helped me like understand where this pain was coming from. And so when I've gone through these breakthroughs, these moments, I'll seek out a book. I'll find something. And over the summer, I was trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to be, what I wanted. I've been, looking for, different job, interviewing, different things, wanting to feel validated again, wanting to feel something. And I ended up meeting an author who wrote Build Like a Woman, excellent book for entrepreneurs. And I ended up asking a question, and I ended up creating a book club with a couple of other women who are entrepreneurs. It opened up connection. And from there, it led me to wanting to create a YouTube channel and start speaking on the things that are important to me. And so I think it can be, sometimes we get comfortable, and comfortable is like easy going, and then stagnation comes into place. And then we're like, well, what am I doing with my life? What do I want to do? And so I feel like when you read something, your brain gets ignited in different ways versus like hanging out with your friends or talking to other people that are in the same stagnant place. And so, right now I'm reading The Mountain Is You by Brianna Waste, which is amazing.
I'm going to get that book.
You need to get this book. It's about, this is a book about self-sabotaging and where we...
a lot of times we self-sabotage ourselves. And we are thinking that we are not good enough, and we are unable to achieve this, we are unable to achieve that.
Yes. Yeah.
How you gain clarity of what you love doing?
For me, sometimes I feel like I'm a quick decider, like I'll make a quick decision, but in reality, when it's big decisions, like something like creating a YouTube channel or like pursuing a writing project, It comes from a space of, have you been thinking about it for X amount of years? How many years have you been thinking about wanting to do something and not done it? And then think about, in that time period that you were kind of going back and forth, could you have achieved it in that time period? Like for me, I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to finish my degree. And it took me 10 years of going, should I not? I don't know. And then all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, if I had just done one class every semester, I would have been done, you know? And so logically, I go into the space of recognizing, like, if you have been thinking about something for a period of time,
just do
longer
it.
than a week, you know, it's probably in your soul that that's what you want to do. So
Yeah,
you need to
do
just
it.
do little steps towards it every single day, because you're not going to get it all in 1 month. You're not going to see success. If you look at most businesses don't truly grow to full success before 5 years. So dedicate yourself to recognizing that you're going to have to take some time, give yourself permission to be patient. But
And treat that period as a training period,
right.
because you need that
You're
training.
learning. You're just
Yeah.
learning.
Yes.
You're not supposed to be perfect. You're just supposed to get 1% better every time.
That's right. Like James Clear.
Yep.
Yeah, I love his book also. I listened to a part of his audio book. Yeah, Atomic Habit.
Yeah. If you're
Yeah,
struggling, feed
1%
your brain with
habit.
happy things. Feed your brain with motivation. If you're struggling, stay away from things that are making you feel sad. Don't sit in front of the television and watch like
News,
shows that
especially
make you
news.
feel nervous.
Yeah, especially news. I never like to watch news.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what is the point that I know everything happens in the world? What is the
Right.
point? It
Right.
doesn't help me to generate. It doesn't help me to become a millionaire.
No. It doesn't.
Yeah, and yeah, there's no way I can help. It's like now, Ukraine and Russia is having war.
Yep.
I mean, am I able to help? No, I'm unable to help.
I know.
It's just that, I'm at the side seeing how all those people suffering there. It's a pain. It's really a pain now to see them suffering there, because recently in I joined school, all the different courses in school. So recently there's this guy bring up the topic about loneliness. So yeah, for me, I think if you feel lonely, find a way to solve that issue. Think about it. Those people in the war zone, how lonely do they feel?
Right.
It's the same. They feel even lonely, and they are worse. They feel the fear. They feel hunger. There's no food. There's no food to eat, and they can't just go out to the supermarket and get the grocery and bring the food home and cook a hot meal for themselves. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are fortunate now.
Yeah.
At least it's like, we are in a space where we have the freedom to cook a hot meal for ourselves. And yeah, you never know out there how many people are struggling, and how many people are without a roof over their head.
Right. I think it's very true.
Yes.
I tell this to my sons all the time. If they get wrapped up in the anxiety of news, and I say, okay, you need to join a club. You need to join a group. You need to sit with other people and you need to talk about different things, because what that creates is community. And when we start seeing people for people and we connect with people, all of a sudden you realize that the world is not so bad, that people are actually very good and very kind, and that we get pulled into these demographics of anger and frustration because we're no longer connecting with each other. We're just seeing things on the news. We're seeing things that make us upset, and we want to get mad about it. And so what happens is we don't know how to deal with that anger. So we isolate more, and we become more lonely, and we become more scared of other humans. And we need to find common ground, common spaces. Like I was in that space of like, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know how to deal with everything after my dad died. And I, started going to a pottery class, meeting people, doing something that I knew I was never going to want to do for a job.
Yeah.
It was not like, it was simply, this is not easy. And I don't need to be good at it. Like the competitive side of me had to like disappear, of just like, okay, I'm just going to be connecting with humans. I'm just going to see them on Thursdays and say, hi, how are you doing? And when they create something, you go, oh my God, that's amazing. That's beautiful. And you share joy with each other. Joy is just something that we don't do enough of. And when you have an opportunity to express that with other people, you'll all of a sudden realize that other people are so hungry for it that they're going to do it too. And you go, oh, I really love that shirt. And they go, oh, thank you so much. Or, oh, I really love that painting that you did. That's beautiful. All of a sudden, everything else gets stripped away, and you just realize there's a human connection and people feel great. And that's also why, talking about grief and loss is important to me, because it is the most essential human experience that we will all have. All of us deal with loss. We may not get married, we may not have children, we may not have all these other milestones, but we will all have the reality of mortality. And if we believe that when somebody dies that we care and we love, and we isolate ourselves more, we are not fully experiencing the beauty that can happen with death and grief. That when we express it, like me and you never met each other, we talk to each other, and all of a sudden you realize, you know what? I have this human connection with another person because they felt this. And it's not, we can say, oh, I felt all this pain. Or we can say, I felt all this love.
Yes.
I love this person.
And
this person.
Both of us, we are like, so many miles apart. You're in America, I'm in Netherlands.
Right.
It's
everywhere. It's everywhere. And all of a sudden, we remind ourselves to be kind to one another. Like I have people, since my dad passed, who will text me and be like, oh, I know that this might be hard time of year for you. Just remember your dad loves you. Don't, and
so nice.
So proud of you. And it's once again that feeling of like, oh, we are all connected. And it's important to do that for other people. Find ways to connect to them, to be authentic, to be generous with our love.
Yes, it's so true, because it's just like loneliness. Every one of us, we experience loneliness.
Right.
And we really we can't depend on another person to make us happy.
Right.
And we have to, think of ways to deal with our loneliness. How are you going to deal with the loneliness? Especially when my mom passed away, Corona period. And it's hard to get friends to meet. And I was so alone.
Yeah.
And I have to deal with it. I just go out and have a meal in the restaurant. Just enjoy myself. I'll just go by the beach, go to a restaurant by the beach, just enjoy the beach day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you realize, I think loneliness is a state of mind. It's where we sit. We are like, oh, I'm so lonely. I wish other people would do this. I wish I would do that. Or we can say, I'm lonely. I need to go and find connection. I need to go and talk to somebody else. I need to
Or
smile.
take a course. I think take a course is
Right.
a better recipe,
Yeah.
because it's like when you take a course, at least you learn something new,
Yep.
and
It's a
you are
common
able to,
space.
yes, you are able to empower yourself. You are able to guide others too.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. When our
it's
brain
just like,
is turned
yeah,
on.
it's just like, I saw your video. Yeah, it really made me cry. But to be honest, yeah, it's if we are able to get together and we are able to collaborate to help others, that is also one way that we can fulfill our life,
Hmm.
and we will feel much more happier, and we won't feel so lonely.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, yeah, it's like that is why it's like loving ourselves is so important,
Yeah.
because
And
it's like
knowing
we
that
no
we're
need,
lovable,
yeah,
knowing that we can
we
be.
no need to find in another person that to love us. No, that is not how things work.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We have to communicate. We have to be vulnerable. We have to put ourselves out there.
yeah.
And we have to recognize that not everybody in our lives can
Mm.
handle that because they are grieving too. They're
So
in same
they have
similar,
their own, yeah, they have their own grief,
and
because
that,
I think Corona really, yeah, changed the whole world.
yeah, it really did.
Mm.
And I think we're all recovering from that still. We're
Yeah,
all
so
thinking
true.
in it in
And
a,
while we are recovering, you can see so many things changes around us.
mhm.
How fast things goes, like AI
Yeah, I know.
is like tremendous speed.
I know.
It's,
I know.
it's just amazing. Okay, the last question. What is the takeaway for our viewers?
I think for us, for our channel, it is, the component of leaning in to your dreams, leaning
Mm,
into love, leaning into those vulnerable spaces, and learning how to trust that you can be your authentic self,
mm,
whatever that might be, and that time is short. And so for me in the video, what I was talking about was that the if my biopsy came back positive, all the things that were going through my head of what I wanted to do, think in that way. Think if all of a sudden your doctor calls you and says, hey, I think we need to get a test. I think this might be bad. And it's so scary. And the things that come into you, that moment of feeling of going, oh, I wish I had
mm.
done this. That is, regret is a little alarm in our head. It's saying, hey, you need to do this. And so you have to live your true self, your true happy self. And if we can help even just a few people go and explore the world a little bit more, live with less fear, and to connect with one another and say that they care about one another in a true and authentic way, then I think we're successful. So I hope that people will watch our channel and see
Yeah,
some of our silly bloopers at the end, enjoy kind of some of the lighthearted stuff, but also the serious stuff. And I'll try to make sure that I only make people cry like once every other month.
yes.
Because I don't think I could do videos like that every week.
No, it's not possible, because like I believe like, yeah, you will cry yourself also, and you need that. You need the time to heal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
and thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. Before
thank
we
you.
wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add, or any message you want to leave our audience with?
I'm so thankful for being on here. It was such a wonderful experience getting to know you. And I hope that you all come over and subscribe to Dream with us and, find ways for us to connect and build a community together.
That is amazing. And we appreciate your time and expertise. Where can our audience find you?
We're on YouTube. If you go to a Dream with Us exclamation point or Dream with Us design, you can find us on YouTube.
Fantastic. We're sure to include those links in the YouTube description box. And thank you once again for being with us today. It's been a pleasure. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this interview, please subscribe and leave us a review or share it with others who might find it interesting. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.